I am in my living room, just chilling, watching TV, and I'm not in the location where... What? Ah!
Oh, that's going to be the intro. That's the intro.
Totally.
And welcome back to the Rally Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey. What's going on? you know, just trying to get this intro started.
That's it. This is our first podcast on Patreon.
Woohoo!
Yeah. We got subscribers.
We do.
Yeah, I'm not just uploading this to empty air.
Right.
We got people listening. Shout out to you guys. Thanks a lot for supporting the podcast. We did 3 tiers. I wasn't sure.
We were talking. We spent all this time on the first tier. What goes on the first tier? How much? Second tier? How much? And then I was finishing, and John's like, he's ready to go to bed. He's over it, and I'm like asking him all these questions, and I'm like, should we do another tier? Like, I feel like because it was $4 and $6, and I was like, I feel like we need like a big one.
Right.
I didn't know what dollar amount. I couldn't figure out like where I wanted that to be.
Right.
And I was like, but I feel like we need something else because, if 6 is the top, that's all we're gonna get.
Right. Like I was struggling because the first tier you get it early.
Yes.
The second tier you get a shout out.
Yes.
And then for the third tier I was like, I don't know
what else.
I was struggling. Them. What could we give them?
Well, and so
tier
I tossed around.
That didn't take more time.
Exactly. So I tossed around. There's a couple through Patreon.
We can't do video
there's a couple. Yet. No.
I know you guys want video. We can't do that yet. That was a one-off.
Through Patreon, there's a couple merch options available,
right.
And so I considered that for the top level. What else? More. So the mid-level was like a monthly shout out, and I was like, well, what about like a weekly shout out? And then it was like, we don't want the whole thing to be all these, shout outs and names and
shout
stuff.
Shout out to you, and that was the podcast.
And so, yes, we were struggling with what would be worth it for a top tier. And then when I was scrolling through Patreon to get like ideas, they had like, they have like some suggestions as to things that you can do. That's cool. Then I saw digital downloads. And mind you, I've read that a bunch of times. And it never really like clicked to me like, oh, okay, like, that I could give them, digital downloads as a file. And so basically it'll be like the file that I'm using for the month for the keychain thingies.
Okay.
They'll get that file.
Okay.
So it's not like I don't have to go through extra work to like create something specifically for them or hope that it fits those people. Yes, but I don't have that pressure of having to do it. Right. And so they get that extra perk. And to our surprise, because again, I asked you, I was like, should we do one? You're like, not yet. Yeah, maybe later down the road.
Right.
And
when
I'm
we
like,
get into when we have a studio for this, and
I'm like, but do video. If it's not there, they can't sign up for it. Right. I was like, so we need to just have it there. Fine if no one chooses that one.
Right.
But we gotta have it.
And I think it goes back to how I'm still new, where you've been,
True.
doing
pricing
business for a while.
And,
I'm like, I'm undercutting myself, like we've talked about, and you're like, no, we need to do this
for sure. So, a quick shout out to our first subscriber was Will Louie. We've had him.
Okay, Will.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
And our second subscriber was Ryan Schultz.
Oh, my boy Ryan.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna get this hat rack. We're gonna do it, bro.
So he's actually gonna be on. I think in a few weeks.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Hashtag save John's hats.
And then the third one that actually happened today was MJ Torres.
Michael Jackson?
No, so
Michael
she's actually friends with Cindy, who we've had on before. And so MJ is actually, she's scheduled for next week recording. So it'll be next week playing for them as well. Right. But so thank you so much to you guys.
Yes.
I didn't know how many I expected, but just anybody signing up to. I mean, it's hard. It's monthly hard, support us,
especially
is
when
huge.
It's like this is them wanting to, because you can listen to it for free,
right?
You know, we put it up. We didn't do this to even like really think about all this, but then we want to get this. You know, we want to go in the studio. Goals. We have goals, and it's. I mean, it sounds like people really like the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's getting a lot of feedback. So we just want to up the value, and in order to up the value, we kind of, you know, like this is one of the ways that this can generate its own revenue to, because we don't want Riley Black designs or to suffer, all the Riley Black umbrella stuff. We don't want that money to go to this podcast, when, you know, there's an option to where it can contribute to itself as well. So thank you guys for you know, sponsoring us essentially.
And another thing, I guess, announcement is that
you pregnant?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not. Not even funny. Don't joke.
Don't talk that into existence.
No, don't you dare. I secured keychainthingies.com.
Oh, that's right.
So, secured that new. Sorry for Mr. Cofferson over here. Secured that new domain. So it's just, you know, it's what people think of when I talk about them.
Right.
So it was really just a good fit. And thanks to Heather, the one who you've kind of thought about
branded them as keychain thingies.
Yeah. And so Heather had the genius idea. It didn't even cross my mind. I have thought about a lot of things as far as like keychain thingies, and you know, like it's in the product name on my website, and but it just didn't even cross my mind to consider securing the domain. And so Heather looked and it was available. And
did you just secure the domain, or is there like, can people order?
Oh no, it will redirect them.
Oh, okay.
To RileyBlackDesigns.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
So RileyBlackDesigns.com is my is my website, and KeychainThingies.com will redirect them to RileyBlackDesigns.com. Okay. But then, I mean, it'll be easier. It's going to be easier for newer customers who maybe have heard just the term and don't know my company name, or you know, things like that.
I heard someone sells keychain thingies.
Exactly.
I don't remember. Someone told me, but I don't remember.
Company name?
Right. Now they can just
so now it'll hopefully be a little easier to find.
And for you guys listening, this isn't like, I really don't know. Like, if
you're not playing stupid.
Yeah, like we're not doing this to like talk about it. Like, I really have no. You told me that you secured the domain.
Yeah.
But I legit didn't know. Like, is that? Do you have another website now? Yeah. Like, I didn't know what that meant.
What that meant, yeah.
I just knew that you own keychainthingies.com.
Yeah.
So I was like, are you going to run another website? Like, are you adding more work to yourself? So, yes, I didn't know. I just knew she secured it, but I didn't know, like, what that meant. So that was genuine.
Yeah. Two big goals this week, and did them early that. So, I mean, the keychainthingies.com, that wasn't necessarily, like, a goal, but, like, as soon as I realized there was an opportunity, I had to make it happen right away, because I was like, I'm gonna kick myself if I miss this, because it's so fitting for me and them and whatever. But the what do you call it? The Patreon, that goal was to be done by Monday that episode aired.
Right, last week's
episode. And I did it, I think, by Saturday.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
it was. I remember it was a couple days early. I remember tagging Jenna in the post, like, "Look, I did it. Did it, and I did it early." So.
And speaking of last week's guest, this week we have two guests.
Yeah.
Kind of.
My laser bestie Heather
/ co-host Heather.
Who you love so much.
I really do. I really do love
but
Heather.
It's just fun to...
Yes. I love giving her crap, too.
And our friend Jasmine, who we absolutely adore and just appreciate her work so much. So we're going to have them on. So we're going to take a break and...
give them a call and get
them all on the line and try three-way for the first time since high school. Not like that.
We're doing a three-way?
I used to do three-way phone calls all the time in high school, and I don't think I literally haven't done one since.
I think that was a girl thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we
And
I don't remember ever doing a
call,
call.
yeah, and then you call your boyfriend and you'd have your friend like on the phone.
Just listening?
Yeah.
On mute?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Depending on, what was going on, you needed that listening ear. Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes proof. Yes.
Oh, I was on the line. You didn't think I was listening? You didn't think she would call me?
Right.
Okay, listen to this fool. Listen to what this fool's going to tell me. He was out. You saw him out of the club, and then you like, oh, where'd you go last night? Oh, no, I was just kicking it in the house. Oh, really? Then why did I hear? Wait, who's that on the line?
Uh-huh. Exactly.
So scandalous. Well, anyway, let's get them on the line. All right. And we're back.
Being in charge.
Okay.
Sorry, John.
Is everyone ready?
Jasmine, I often interrupt John when he's trying to do things that are important.
And then they wonder why this podcast, like when Heather's on, I just don't talk. Why talk when you get interrupted?
I don't wonder. You don't really have much of a job if I'm on. Go ahead.
I mean, do you want to do this part then, I guess?
Okay. Ready?
And we're back. And we're on the line with
your favorite.
My replacement, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's a regular. And newbie.
A special guest, Jasmine.
Welcome to the show, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, John. Nice to have you back.
No, that was it. I'm out from here on out.
Shut up.
You might hear me laugh. You will hear me cough.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all Heather.
Yes.
And maybe some
It's
sniffles
gonna be
from Jasmine.
I would say Jasmine's gonna be sniffling, John's gonna be coughing. We'll all have our role today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Perfect.
So what are we talking
no
about?
No one has the Rona. Let's just announce that
right
now, so the listeners know. None of us have the Rona.
Right. I mean,
it's
I haven't been tested.
That's true. You haven't been.
You're not supposed to tell the Gen Pop that.
I mean, I got the vax though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No. But
let's
that could
not get political on here.
Right.
That's why it could be minor symptoms.
Let's not spiral down that.
Yeah, let's not, because when Heather and Jasmine get on those conversations, that's when I pull a John and I back out
on the dark web real quick.
I'm not privy to those conversations.
Me and Jasmine will bust out all your conspiracies.
They will, and then I usually I pop in a little bit to laugh react to a couple of them, and then.
Mm-hmm.
So should we talk about Jasmine's business first, or how we met? Oh, we should talk about,
everyone knows
or do
Heather.
we want to talk about what we just got?
Oh, I mean, we can talk about what we just got. So it's funny because Jasmine and Heather, you guys know.
Yes. They're my only friends who know right now, actually.
So
you guys are my only friends, period.
That's kind of also true.
So it's funny. So today, Crystal ventures out alone in our not brand. It's brand new to us.
Brand new to us, yeah.
But our new 2020
Well, yeah, they don't even know
Pathfinder.
about what it is.
I just said it.
Yeah.
If you would stop interrupting.
You said
This is why I don't
she
talk.
ventured out on her own.
This is why I don't talk.
You should tell them about it.
See, this is why I don't talk when you're on, Heather. Okay?
I didn't give you any lines, John. Where's the script?
Can you let me? I'm getting there. I get there my own way.
Oh man,
anyway, let's start over. Crystal ventured out in the new to us 2020 Nissan Pathfinder.
Yes.
And she calls me with it. So I drove it from the lot home, and then we went to our friend's house. And
I did a test drive, but that's it.
That's it, and that was down the street.
Yeah.
So. This was her first time.
I had a screaming baby in the background, so I was like, "Can we get back?"
So she was alone. She got to jam the music. She got to step on the gas pedal. All that thing. She calls me within 5 minutes and says, "Okay, I love this thing." And she was.
I was feeling super anxious because the deal was a little sketch. And
can we talk about how stressed out you were when I was negotiating with the guy?
Oh my God. They were I was in between them.
Yeah.
And they were negotiating. John was in front of me and the guy was behind me. And it was so awkward, as they were arguing back and forth about pricing.
So they basically, what they were trying to do was push us into a lesser model Pathfinder. So they were willing to negotiate that price, but not this higher end one. And we fell in love with the higher end one.
Of course.
So I was I was just saying, if you can make a deal on this one, why not make a deal on that one?
Right.
And so
we don't want that one.
Right. We don't want that one. Make a deal on this one.
Yeah.
And so that whole thing ensued.
but it's really awesome. Yeah. And for someone who's always running late, it was really nice to have the V6. We went from a 4-cylinder
to a 6-cylinder.
Yeah. It was very nice.
And we got it. Yeah. And we basically got it because we realized when your sister was in town that we no longer have room for anybody else. So if we have a visitor in town from Colorado, like we're stuck taking 2 cars.
And we don't really have 2 cars. Right. John has a company vehicle, but we don't have another car because
exactly. So
we used to, and it just sat there.
Right. So we can't make a trip like to Orlando. Like I can drive my work vehicle locally.
Yeah.
But I can't take it out on trips. So if we have like to go see your mom.
Yeah.
So if your sister's in town and she stops by here and then we go to Northport to see your mom, we got to rent a vehicle. Yeah. So we needed a 3rd row. So it wasn't just because we wanted an upgrade. We actually need it. Yeah.
Mostly because
that was our story.
You know, yeah. That's it.
I support all new car purchases.
You love new cars.
So Jasmine.
Yeah, so we'll briefly talk about how our friendship started. Yeah. So I remember Heather, we were talking one day and she goes, I think I fucked up. I was like, what'd you do? And she was like, so my mentee is like, she's really good. And she's like really good. And she sent me one of the designs she was working on. And like, I remember exactly what design it was too, which is impressive for me because my memory is terrible.
Right.
It was a scoreable.
Wait, just pause this for a second because just a note to the readers: Jasmine doesn't know this story.
Oh, she doesn't.
No, she does not.
That's true. Well, this will be new to Jasmine too. So Heather messages me, and tells me, I done messed up, and she tells me about this design that her mentee is working on, and it was a scoreable ugly sweater watch band design. And it was good. It was like really good. Like one of those designs. Perfect. So all the times, like there's a lot of times when we're when we're in the group, we're moderators of a million groups, and someone will post something and we'll kind of be like, do you think they drew that or not? Right, do you think that's clip art or not? Right. Like, and this would be one of those situations where if I didn't know Jasmine, I'd be like, she didn't draw that. Funk. Yeah. Like there's no, it was that good. It was like, it was really good. And I was like, wait, so she's the mentee or?
Right, who's who?
I was like, wait a minute. Like you're teaching her?
The student has become the teacher.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, and then it got to the point where like Heather and I would talk, we talk all the time. And like Jasmine kept coming up like in our conversations because they were talking regularly as well. And so, I grew to like Jasmine before I even knew Jasmine. I knew her through Heather and their conversations. And so one day I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Because she kept... Oh, here's another side note. Is that Heather and Jasmine I curse a whole lot. And Jasmine doesn't curse
Jasmine
at
does
all.
not curse.
It sounds like Jasmine doesn't speak much. I don't know how. Luckily, it's also
I'm listening intently to the story.
Because it's new to her too.
I hadn't heard of her before.
No, I know,
Jasmine's
but I can.
The listener here.
Poor Jasmine. So I see what it is. In you guys' relationship, Jasmine is me on the podcast.
Yeah. Or not the phone call. Yeah. This is how our group chat goes
Jasmine and I are going to start our own podcast. The quiet ones.
The John and Jasmine podcast.
No, it's just going to be the quiet ones. It's going to be
a whole bunch of dead air.
It's going to be the quiet ones. It's going to be an ASMR show. It's going to be an ASMR show.
For people to meditate to. As a quiet place for you to come and relax.
There you go.
Right?
A quiet laser place.
That's definitely nothing that Heather and Crystal would be involved in. The quiet place. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, there's nothing quiet or serene about either one of us.
No, not even a little bit. So then eventually, I like grew to really like her just again because like of her designs and just
Crystal
like,
group chatted. Did you put that on there?
Yeah, well, so I forced us all into a group chat, and I was like, Jasmine, you don't know me, but I know you, and you're awesome, and we need a group chat. And then that evolved into what it is now, where it's still Heather and I mostly talking, and then every once in a while when Jasmine has a chance, she'll chime in. Yeah.
And then we get to drool over Jasmine's art.
Oh my God, yes. Perfect transition into let's talk about Jasmine.
Please,
and her
everyone worship Jasmine and her magical wood sanding, painting superpowers. I am obsessed.
Same. So we don't even know her. We don't even know her. I don't know your story. This is the cool thing about the podcast is that I usually learn things about even my friends because you never really like
talk about it.
You don't go into that. Like if it comes up in conversation, sure. But like, I don't know how Jasmine started. So
how'd you start?
Me neither.
How'd I start? Let's see. So we all know that I have Lily.
Yes. Your daughter.
Us, yes, my daughter, 4 years ago, and I decided not to go back to work after I had her. But that, I guess, wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of, you guys know what it's like. I feel like it's not as chalked up what it.
I was going to say,
what they say it is like staying home.
No,
this working from home scene.
I remember
is not for me.
Before I even got pregnant, I remember thinking like and telling like my coworkers like I have no desire to be a stay-at-home mom, and here, look at me.
I was totally trying to be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, but you at least have but we have businesses, like, I'm not that, like, at this point I am, because I can't go back to work.
Right.
Because my full-time job is now work from home, but, like, same thing is, like, people think, like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom, like, you are, but we're not. Like, we have full-time businesses that we're running out of our own houses.
Yeah. Well, it basically doing both, and it's just a complete shit show. Yeah.
Yeah, so after I had her, I'd say, like, I don't know, a few months in, I started to lose my mind a little bit. It's just such a drastic change, especially when you're, like, working and you're so, I guess, devoted to your job and you're barely home, and then you have a kid and then you're home and you're with a baby all day, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you lose your
identity human interaction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adult
slowly,
interaction,
like,
I guess.
Piece by piece, like, you get stripped of, like, who you were.
Who you were, yeah.
So at some point, I borrowed my sister's Cricut, and she's like, oh, no, here we go again. Like, you're trying to one-up me on something else. And so I saw a sign. I made one sign, and she's like, I need that back. And I'm like, but can I just use it a little longer? And she's like, no, I need it back.
She's like, nah, bro, give it back.
Yeah, she's like, get your own, bro.
So I went and I got a Cricut.
Jasmine was like, look at my scroll saw and my laser. Keep your like, Cricut.
That's fine. I don't need your Cricut. I got this.
I see your Cricut and I raise you a scroll saw. I'll have a laser in a minute.
Yeah, Jasmine. Oh, goodness. So
now people get to see our friendship where we kind of just talk over Jasmine a little bit.
And I just kind of like sit there.
But then you continue. Go on.
Yeah. So we started making, like stenciled vinyl signs. Every method you think of, I tried. And I have one sign in my house from when I first started. And I don't know, I haven't burned it yet, but I never showed you guys it. I think I may have showed you it. It's bad.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Oh, it's so bad. So, I don't know how long I had my Cricut for before, I'd see one thing and I'm like, oh, I want to try that. And then I'd go ahead and I'd do it and I'm like, okay, now I need to try this. So, I guess that lasted almost a year. And then in December of maybe 2018, I think it was, I had it was like a 70 to 200 millimeter lens. I was like, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to sell it and buy a scroll saw. So that's what I did. I sold it and I bought a scroll saw. And then from there, I started scrolling. And that was great. But I'm such a perfectionist, and it took me forever.
I bet. It's really hard. I bet it's really hard to do perfection on
the precise stuff, yeah.
Well, wait, rewind that for just 1 second. Jasmine, you were like a full-time photographer before that? Or you were just doing photography like on...
All right, so that's where it kind of gets a little tricky. So after
because your photography skills are on point. So
they really are.
Let's not forget that either.
If you weren't so busy, I would literally pay you to be like my product photographer.
Like she's like one of our best friends at this point, and I'm like, yeah. Well, if anybody's hiring Jasmine, it's me, not you, Crystal. Oh wait, who said that? We can fight over.
Yeah.
That was a period of time. So after I had Lily. Before I used my sister's Cricut, I'd always had wanted or had an eye for photography. And so I started working for these photographers. They actually photographed my wedding. And I worked for a short time with them, probably from October till April. It was fine. That's all we'll say about that. And I left them. And then eventually I had Nico. And in this time, I was using the Cricut. Mm-hmm. Then I got suckered back into working for them for a bit. Again, that didn't last long. And so I don't know. It's fine. You know what my issue I think it is, and I don't say this in a way that, hopefully it doesn't come off as cocky. It's I can easily pick up on things and, I want to master things, and then I do. And then I'm, bored with it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good at a lot of things, and...
Were you doing a lot of weddings and stuff? Is that what it was?
I didn't shoot a ton of weddings. I only did one with them, but it was really, family sessions. I like lifestyle more, and I have my own way of shooting, and I like shooting at a certain time, and this was their business, and they have bills to pay and, families. Right. And for me, shooting in the middle of the day or shooting in studio or things along those lines, it just
boring.
Fit with me. And I felt like I was conforming to them. There was two of them, and they were like a replication of each other. And
I mean, it's the same reason that I don't like making something 50 times. You don't want to take the same 50 poses in a studio.
Exactly.
Yeah, photography. That's that's like their bread and butter. I get it. It kind of sucks.
So editing, I don't love, especially when you have it at a certain time, like the golden hour.
Right.
You have a consistent work. It's easier to edit when you're shooting at all times of the day. Then you're trying to fix this, fix that, fix colors bouncing off of this, and that's just annoying. And I guess I don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, but. That's pretty common for everything, I guess.
Yeah.
I try and then I'm like, no, not what I thought.
On to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's a scroll saw?
So that happened in between a scroll saw. So
I don't know what that is.
It's saw.
It's sorcery is what it is.
It has a small blade that runs, let's see, horizontal. And there's teeth on it. You can get different sizes depending on whichever material you're going to cut. And then there's all different kinds of them, obviously, lower end, medium. You can get really expensive ones. But basically, there's the blade. You put your material to it. Essentially, it pulls it. You shouldn't be, forcing it in. So say you have, a template of a daisy. You would have that on your wood, and then you turn the wood for the blade to cut into the shape of the daisy. Does that kind of make sense?
It traces it.
Yeah.
But it's guide the wood through
but it's
the blade.
An entirely different behavior because you can't do sharp turns. Yeah. You kind of have to swing. You kind of have to do a U-turn kind of a feel.
And the blade is horizontal.
Mm-hmm. Up and down like this.
Crystal, do you have a phone?
Oh, okay,
it's
vertical.
Vertical.
Oh, okay, because I was like, how is the blade horizontal? I'm trying to picture. I'm like, how is it horizontal and you're I'm like, how does this blade even suspend itself?
Yeah, sorry.
Just making sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, just check.
Okay, now I get it. So the blade is vertical.
Yeah.
So kind of like
it's kind of like a sewing machine kind of a feel, John.
Oh, right.
Like the sewing machine meets a jigsaw.
Kind of like a sewing machine.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I get it. Now I see what you're saying.
Super cool.
I never could. I would lose a finger.
I can see that.
But on top of like her scroll saw skills, she sands every tiny little microscopic piece, and then she primes it and paints it like a magician. It's astounding. It really is.
So like a woodworker.
Really
a magician. Level. Like the child of a magician and a woodworker.
So you remember that fish, the fish that I showed you the other day?
Right.
That was ridiculous. That's her bestie.
Taurus, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
And just she cut technically on a Glowforge, on a laser, but she started as a scroll saw.
So you got your scroll saw.
Yes.
Yep, I got my scroll saw. Did that for a while. And I admit, I'm not the best scroller, right? I'm actually pretty sucky at it. Things that doesn't have to be perfect. I am pretty sucky.
If anyone have to be perfect. So this is where we get to plug the group. Crystal, you'll put up pictures of Jasmine's quote-unquote sucky scroll work.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let me send you some pictures of that
scroll work. It's not sucky at all.
Yeah,
oh,
no.
Goodness.
Yeah. Well, the problem is I wouldn't be able to tell which one is scroll and which one is laser, and that tells you right there that it's not sucky. Right. But we'll have Jasmine.
So money.
We'll have Jasmine send us some pictures that I can post in the group, and
I mean, remember,
we should do like a quiz, like scrolled or lasered.
Right? Totally.
Well, you're always going to be
who knows the difference?
Your own worst critic.
True.
You're always going to see the flaw
Jasmine definitely is. We in the group chat all the time. We're always telling her, "You're not charging enough. You need to charge more. That is amazing. That is great." She's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I love this." And we're like, "Are you kidding me?"
It's always in retrospect, it's like, "Oh, I really should have charged more for this time."
Yeah.
Yes.
You're always doing that after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You're worth way more. The skill is crazy. Me and Crystal said, even minus the skill, even if not for the skill, the patience it takes for the dedication that you have, each tiny, there's the people don't understand. And Jasmine, you and I and Crystal have had this conversation multiple times. Sometimes laser users don't understand the difference between single line florals
all the time.
A floral that is a puzzle piece. So people see a single line floral and be like, I don't know how to put this back together. So just when Jasmine tells us I number the back, or I'm I'm spray painting these pieces, but I have to put them back by number. It's just so beyond my realm of patience.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do it.
I did one piece that was mountain peaks. Mm-hmm. And it was 90 something pieces, for your coworker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I legit probably, if I didn't cry, I wanted to. And that was the one sign I did with 90 pieces.
Cost $1 million.
Yeah, and I didn't charge her nearly enough. Definitely didn't.
This thing really does look like a sewing machine.
You're looking up.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It totally looks like a sewing machine.
It's the perfect comparison.
So how did you did scroll sawing for a while, and then you were looking into a laser to get the precision, right?
That, and obviously with the scroll saw, I have to be paying attention to what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Yeah. And having 2 kids, I was finding that I was only able to cut in the nighttime.
Yeah.
So I think that also goes.
Oh my God, they really are.
Oh, thank you. I was getting frustrated that, I would be up during the night trying to scroll something, and then just I was limited on when I could work.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about getting a laser, but then I didn't know if it was one of those tangents I was going on where I want something, but then I really don't want it. I just want it in that moment, and then once I get it, I'm
I feel like we were all that way.
Now. The
I know I was.
That's how I am for everything. A lot of things.
Same.
Oh, we just got a Pathfinder.
I become fixated on something.
You're speaking to the family that just got a Pathfinder.
Well, and because he brought up, do we need a bigger car? Like what, a week ago?
Yeah, and then and then you said, oh, we should totally get it before Penny gets in town. Well, which is like in 2-3 weeks.
I know, but I mean, come on, we have 2 people coming in town. It's the perfect time for a bigger car.
So yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
Exactly.
You're preaching to the choir.
We think about something and then we get it, and then we hope that feeling doesn't go away.
Right. And then we stress about it, and then she calls me in 5 minutes and says, I love it.
On impulse. I don't know what you guys
really,
super
Heather?
Reasonable.
I've tried to get better about that.
Oh, reasonable.
It's so funny that I forever said I did not want to have kids. I was adamant, and you knew that we weren't having kids.
Wow, really?
So funny.
At one point in time, I came around to it, and I was like, okay, I think I want to have kids. And at the time, I had an IUD in, and I'm like, oh, wow, Jasmine, like, you want kids, and then, like, 2 minutes later, you're going to be like, no, you don't, and then it's going to be too late. So I made an appointment for months after to get my IUD out, and I was like, if
to
I
make
still
sure,
feel the same, yes, then
we'll be right. Yes, I mean, because that's not something you want to. I mean, although these last couple weeks, I've definitely
like JK.
I mean, I told John, I was like, it was a rough week, and I was like, why did we have kids?
Yeah,
tell me what's the no, I'm talking about both. I was like, yeah.
I'm like, I do the same thing with Bob, where I'm like, remember that time, like 4 years ago, when I could come home from work and just sit here and not have any responsibilities?
Yes,
like, we reminisce about the good old days all the time.
Yeah, and it was like, when I didn't have to like move heaven and earth to go somewhere. Yes, it was just like I could like pee without him walking in to ask me if he can have Cheetos, and like just I had just hit
Mom,
my
what
point.
Are you doing? Like, I mean, I'm just peeing. It's fine.
And like he was sick, and Jackson was being difficult, and I was like, why did we want this again? Like, where?
Yeah,
I was definitely having a moment.
More than one child, because you did it twice.
Oh,
I'm not there.
I did
it once, and I'm still like, good Lord, I don't know how.
It's the whole reason they make them cute. Like that's why they're cute, is because
distracting.
Yeah.
I always say so you don't send them back.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah. So you decided you wanted to have kids.
Yep, I decided I wanted to have
But that
kids.
was like, you were transitioning into how you were deciding whether to get a laser or not. And
if I want to get a laser or not, right? So I wanted a laser, and I didn't know if I should or not. And I don't even know if I told you guys this. Nico had just turned 1, and I was babysitting my friend's son. She went back to work, and then she was right off on maternity leave. So Nico was 1, and her son was 4 months old. And I was like, holy crap. That made me know we did not want any more kids, because I was so done. Like, just that little bit of an age gap.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, nope, we're good. Like, the little bit of independence Nico had, which was nothing.
Right.
Compared to a 4-month-old, I was like, no, we're done. But at that time, I think I was really, we went on vacation, I came back, I was really struggling, like, I don't know why, we'll say the lowest I had been mentally. And I was like, I'm going to order a Glowforge, like, as if to, like, pacify these feelings.
Oh, it totally
and I ordered it,
things.
and instantly I felt...
Yeah, Glowforge is definitely going to fix the anxiety.
I don't know anything about buying a Glowforge on a whim.
I know, right? So I felt so bad. I canceled it, like, in the nick of time. So this was in, like, September. And then funny. June of the following year, I actually decided, okay, I really want a laser.
Oh wait, so you bought one, and then you canceled it, and then you bought like it for real in June?
Yep. So like almost funny. What is that? Like 9 months later.
You can have another kid.
Actually go for it.
Well, and there's another difference between Jasmine and Heather and I. Is Heather and I have an extreme amount of items and acrylic and things that we're not actually gonna necessarily use. And Jasmine, she's like, I need to buy acrylic, but I don't want to spend the money. she's like thinking of buying
how much of this
clear,
should I get in this,
white and black, and that's it.
Meanwhile, me and Chris are like, what's that? Like $500 worth of acrylics that we're never going to use.
How much did we just order in that fancy sparkly acrylic?
Sure.
Have you cut anything in the pastel?
So wait, shout out to Cerulean Tides and the Diamond Dust because I have a new obsession.
It's gorgeous.
I have no use for it whatsoever.
And we ordered like 4 sheets.
I don't even, I'm more than that. I mean, I already have my sample sheet of the 1/4 inch. I ordered the 4 sheets, plus you and I are going to split a sheet. Right? Yeah. My Amanda obsession is just growing the Under the Sea, all of it. Okay.
Yeah. Back to your I bought that pastel. I bought that pastel acrylic.
Yes.
And I still have a lot of it left. Well, I listened to you guys, and I still have it.
I just buy all the stuff. We just bully people.
Every once in a while, she falls into the same trap of buying things, but it takes us talking about it for a long time.
Oh yes, it like kills. Like being up all night for weeks thinking about it, and then just go ahead and doing it. And now it's still sitting down there, and it's like, see, I told you.
I mean, although it is gorgeous on those big brother and big sister signs that you make.
I know. Yeah. I guess the thought was,
really awesome
let's go ahead and do other colors, and then we all know what happened. I don't know what happened.
That matte texture is so much easier to photograph, too.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, like, reflections. And I mean, Crystal and Jasmine both know I'm on that all day, every day.
So what was your experience?
Keep your shiny shit.
Yeah. What was your experience with the Glowforge?
So I actually didn't have a bad experience. There was a few things that like pissed me off, but it wasn't anything where I'm like, I'm going to throw this machine out the window. It's slow, and that bothered me because I don't like slowness. The bed size was obviously small, and that was a big issue. But other than that, it wasn't bad. But I will say I got my Glowforge. I think I ordered it in the beginning of June, and the end of July I ordered my mirror.
Wow.
And the plan was to go ahead and, I'm fairly certain Crystal and Heather convinced me to do that as well.
Hey, actually, you bought your laser you bought your mirror before I bought mine.
Doesn't mean you didn't believe that.
No, that was mostly Heather. I think
I think we put our deposit down around the same time.
I was like right after you.
Pretty close.
Yeah, maybe a few weeks because you got your machine in like November, right?
We were on the same shipment. I think I was just like at the beginning of the.
Okay, because so I got mine in December and you got yours in November. So I think you were one shipment ahead of me, and
But she was a 7, and the 7s were earlier than the 9s.
Right. And I knew I was going to get one, but I was saving for it because I wanted to get to I needed 50%.
Yes, I remember
before I was comfortable purchasing it, because I wanted the 9, and I also needed to calm down John's anxiety of me buying a massive machine.
But I knew Heather ordered hers, and I knew you were going to be wanting yours, so I was having a little bit of fear.
FOMO.
Dang, I'm going to. Yeah.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Happens quickly.
And then like, oh goodness, if I don't place it now, if I could be on the whole next shipment, or whatever the case is. So I was like, I have to go ahead and do this.
Well, that was the problem at the time, is they were like, oh, pre-order specials. Like, we didn't know when those specials would
when they were going to end.
When the shipments were going to extend. And like, it was so close to like the holiday season, and at that point when I was ordering my Glowforge, my 17th Glowforge, JK, not really, had just taken a shit, and I was like, so maybe I should just get a reliable laser at this point.
I totally my down
like
payment
that made me really nervous.
Yeah, well, and my down payment was on a day that I was frustrated with my Glowforge, which I mean, it all definitely worked out. Like, for the better. I mean, my machine, yes, the first one was dead on arrival, but the replacement machine lasted me 2 years. And so, and that's not the thing, very many issues either.
As much as I like talk shit about the Glowforge brand, I did nothing but benefit from being a Glowforge owner. Like, granted, I'm no longer a Glowforge owner. Right. I am still an advocate for the brand in every way, shape, or form. Like, it's a plug and play. It's a great addition to, like, a hobbyist machine. I wouldn't say that if you want to further your business, like, size-wise, like, if you eventually want to make, like, gigantic signs and whatever, like, you're going to have to expand. But, like, plenty of people build their brands around Glowforge and that size and
buy several of them to help with, like, the speed. And they have 2 or 3 of them running at a time. Yeah.
And they are really, like, I don't like to not advocate for them, but, like, I will say, like, they're ramping up their customer service a little bit.
Yes,
I've heard they have a phone number.
Yeah.
So things like that.
They have a phone number? Trying. Does it work?
I've heard they have a phone number.
Hey, they got the number. All right, they got the number.
Right, I know. One step at a time.
They haven't set up their voicemail, but that's coming.
Just saying, like, as much, like, I will be like, everyone knows all the issues I had with Glowforge, and I, to this day, I had an entire year's worth of a Glowforge machine, and I never paid a dime for it. They gave me all of my money back. Right. I will advocate for the brand day and night, but I will also advocate for their cons. Like, I will make sure people know, like, what the limitations are, the things I didn't know going into it, but the things that I didn't know going into it would never have stopped me from buying it. So, like, I always want to make sure that I let people know that, because I was a hobbyist. Like, I just kind of wanted to get my feet wet, and it was easy. Yeah. And super easy. You just get it in the mail, plug it in. Like, it's nowhere near what Eon is.
The hardest part for me was connecting my Wi-Fi.
Like, right? It's not hard at all. No. But there are limitations that if you want to expand and you want to go bigger, better, faster, like whatever, the Kanye song. What's the Eon shirt say? Better, faster, stronger. It reminds me of that Kanye song.
See, like, you grew out of the Glowforge that fast, basically.
I think yes, and
peer pressure.
I mean, could I have had it longer? Of course, but
She's saying yes, and then we bullied her into the peer pressure.
Yeah, basically all of that. I'm sure I could have. People make it work all the time, but I think for what I wanted to be able to do with it.
When you make such big signs now, and just what you do, the 7 is really perfect for you.
It was a good move at the time because of the timeline. Like, right now, how long are you waiting for machines?
Oh,
like, you've got yours in a month or two. Like, I know I ordered in, Crystal, what was it? I ordered in May and I got it in September. So I didn't wait very long.
I ordered at the end of July and got it in December.
But weren't they also offering, like, deep discounts?
Yeah, and I don't know if they still are, but they might be, because
I would say not. It wasn't discounts. They just had a lot of free shit.
So
like,
it was the same. Rotary, it was regular price, but you got the camera for free, the rotary for free.
Oh, they just threw in
the training,
stuff.
Sliper, like all that.
And
stuff.
I don't use the camera, and I haven't used the rotary.
Never used the camera.
So I mean, it's a good thing I got those things for free, because I probably would have bought them anyway, thinking I really needed them, and
find out you don't,
and would have paid for them and then not use them.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing with, like, going from Glowforge to Mira, is that Glowforge, you're very camera dependent.
Oh yeah,
you don't have an option.
Remember how we used to ask Emily all the time?
Like, you need the camera. Yeah, like,
you were like, how do you do it without a camera?
Like, how does it work?
She would always respond with that magic gift.
I was like, oh, duh.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you see it, you're like, but it really is. It's so hard to
you can't wrap your head around it.
Like, if you've never known a laser, and the only thing that you know is the Glowforge focus with the camera, like, you can't comprehend the red dot. Like, you just can't.
It was the biggest. It's why I was so nervous about the machine.
Really?
When you told me it didn't have a camera, I was like,
and you don't even really know that much about it.
I was like, how are you gonna,
it was like my biggest scare tactic of not getting the machine, and it's the biggest sell of the machine. Like, it's crazy. Like, I try and tell that to my mentees all the time. Like,
you don't
stop being afraid of it. I'm like, Glowforge kind of trained you that you need this freaking camera, which, I mean,
isn't even
honest,
reliable.
It's never accurate.
Well, the thing is,
like, it's never accurate.
On my end, never using a laser or whatever, watching you, like, use the picture, line everything up, I'm like, how are you going to do that without the camera? And I was like,
but little red dot.
But you wanted it.
If you were going in blind and I said to you, here are your options. You could have a camera that's going to place this image over your piece that's approximate and is most likely not going to be entirely accurate, or you could have this red laser beam dot that's going to tell you exactly where your design's going to go.
Yeah.
There's no chance it's not going to be where you think it's going to be.
Right.
Which one are you going to go with? Like, you're going to go with the other one. But it's just like the mindset that you get because of how you're trained on using the Glowforge. Yeah. Like, not saying it's bad, it's just different.
And it's usually your first laser.
Your brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So, like, for me, it was like the only thing I knew in the laser world was the Glowforge. So as soon as they were like, you don't have a camera, I was like, can't do it. Sorry.
I'm out.
My brain breaks. Where do I sign out of this? I'm done. And then I got the camera. Remember, Crystal? I got the camera. I was like, oh, it comes with the camera. I'm good. And then it came, and I was like, Crystal, the camera's on the freaking door. I don't understand. Like, it's not on his house.
I still don't understand
it on, like, I still don't understand it. Like, it doesn't register in my brain, but I've never used it and I've never needed it.
It takes a picture.
So
it does it like
entirely accurate.
While the lid's open.
No.
But I still just don't understand it. Yeah.
No.
The answer is no.
No. So Jasmine, how was it once you got the 7? Did you like?
So I'm glad I had the Glowforge because I, had that. When you have a laser, I feel like you have the knowledge of how to operate a laser. I don't think it matters if you have the Glowforge or, a mirror or whatever machine. Yes, there are differences, but you still know the general basics on how to make something cut, I guess, the way you want it to. So going to the mirror, it wasn't bad. And when my mirror came, I unplugged my Glowforge. It's like typically what I do with something. And I did not have it as an option to like fall back on. It was, you're just going to figure this out and you're going to go.
Well, and I had to because I didn't have room for both of them. So I had to, I had no choice but to get rid of the Glowforge and go all into the mirror.
And then just do it. Mm-hmm. I forget what the question was.
What was your experience with the mirror moving from the Glowforge?
Oh, okay. So first, I do wish I would have actually paid a little bit more attention to the pricing difference between the 7 and the 9 because while it is a lot of money, it still isn't that much more money.
That's exactly why. Yeah. So I had a lapse in so I was having extreme FOMO and frustration with the Glowforge. And I was like, okay, I don't have enough. I'm not to my 50% of a Mira 9, but I have 50% of a Mira 7. And then I literally had Danny send me an invoice for both so that I could compare them. And then when he sent them to me, and it was a couple $1,000s, and I was like, okay. And I was really, really tempted to just get the 7 because I just, I wanted it now. And that would have got me. And I was, and Heather was like, no. And I'm like, okay, no. Because, it's they're not that much bigger and they're not that much more expensive. And so unless the 7 is absolutely perfect for what your business is doing and what your goals are for the future as well, maybe. Even then, if you can afford the 9 in a couple weeks or a couple months, save for that and get that because, like you're saying, I mean, it's sure the 7, it works and it's obviously bigger than the Glowforge was. It's faster than the Glowforge was, but the price difference, it's you just go big.
Yes, and I talked about
I was like, go hard or go home.
Yep.
I would tell them I love my machine. I have no issues, but if you can afford it and you have the space for it, do the 9. And Iggy had told me when I was buying it, he said, why don't you do the 9? And I was already crapping my pants. I'm like, no, I can't. We can't.
Is I'm it really that? I actually have never done the size comparison. Is the size, I mean, Crystal, I've seen Emily 7.
So,
I mean, I know the size of mine on. It's really not that.
So she's 17 by 27 approximately is the bed size of a 7.
I just mean machine size. I feel
if you it's not that much. It's not that much
room for a 7. You have room for a 9.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like some people think like in their heads like, oh, I don't have I'll go for the 7 because I don't think I can fit a 9.
It's like maybe like a foot in each direction. So like it is, but it isn't, because if you can fit a 7, I mean the 7s aren't small. So if you can fit a 7 in your house,
unless you're like really squeezing that 7 into like a specific spot, a specifically sized area for that machine, you can fit a 9. Like it's not, it doesn't, the machine size itself really only adjusts based on the bed size. Like you don't really like get any extra machinery to go with it.
Yeah.
So initially when I got the laser, my goal was to be able to I guess replicate the look of the scroll saw in regards to the single line, and that's how I actually messaged Heather, because I couldn't figure out how to get that single line version, because everything is a double line. And then she introduced me to Graphic, which is a dinosaur, and
Graphic is
she walked me. She put up with me
an app
with my annoying stuff.
It's an app on the iPad that allows you.
Yes.
So Procreate is what I use, and Heather and whatever.
Remind the user
when you
that it came
when you draw on Procreate, and then you trace it in your design software, you'll always have the inside and outside line of whatever you drew. So if I draw a square,
no matter what,
there's going to be the inside square and the outside square.
Export to SVG.
Yeah.
People automatically think Procreate will export to vector.
Right.
Not.
And so in Graphic, you can draw with, it's basically, it usually is called like a pencil tool, and it does that one single line. So I could draw, like a stick figure, and it'll literally be just that one stick figure. His arm is just like one leg, instead of tracing that line and making it the inside of his arm, the outside of his arm. I
only ever promoted Graphic because it was before AI for iPad.
Right. Existed.
Yes, I know. I don't think you tried to steer me wrong.
No. I know. Heather, I must caution that.
Why did she sell her on Graphic when there's AI out
there? It wasn't like I liked it at the time. Yeah. But now that
it was great. AI, we both loved it at the time, and then AI for iPad came out, and it was like, what's Graphic?
It took me a while to try AI. Don't you remember? And I'm like, why did it take me this long?
Hi, currently doing that.
But Graphic is great if you. I don't know why you get on it. Heather, why don't you give her your AI login?
Because I want to force her into getting her own subscription and learning the damn Crystal. How often do I bully you into
2022 goals? Leave me alone.
So Jasmine, she's going to be my student when I finally get my course live.
Oh, perfect!
It really is
going to be my perfection mentee, so that she can.
So both of you, 2022 goals then.
Yes.
January.
Definitely 2022
goals. Every week. Yeah. How's it going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, push us, because we'll both procrastinate. Oh. How the tables have turned.
I won't say the name out loud, but guess what? I'm going to message you the same thing about your course.
So, the goal was for it to imitate, the scroll saw. I think there's 2 different looks, I guess. You can have something where you can say that's cut laser work, that's laser work, or you can have something where I never mean to come across in any type of way. You could look at mine and you wouldn't know, is it laser or is it scroll saw? It's probably laser because the lines are really, really clean. You know what I'm saying? But and that was my goal, not for it to just be like, oh, she cut that on the laser.
You also do a lot of, sorry to talk over you, but you also do a lot of different material thicknesses where you layer
I love the depths
with so then you kind of it gives you less of a laser feel, even though it is laser cut sometimes. Because you're layering your thicknesses, and it kind of gives you there's no way a laser cut that thickness, but it's you going from like quarter to 1/8, where like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't really notice unless you were one of us.
Yeah. Tell everybody where to find you and your amazing pieces.
The people.
So my Instagram is, what is it? Thehomestay.co.
The what?
The Homestay.
Thehomestay.co.
We'll put it on the group.
I really wanted it to just be The Homestay, but I guess someone had that name, so I couldn't. I couldn't use that.
That's why
I do have
has underscores.
Yeah.
I do have TikTok, but I got off of it because we all know why I got off of it.
Yeah.
I went down a rough hole with
rabbit hole
COVID.
Oh, right, yeah.
A deep hole.
With the conspiracies.
Or the next day I was contemplating not sending my kids to daycare because people were saying stuff was about to go down.
Oh my God, QAnon.
Did I tell you guys that?
She was Q.
No.
Did I tell you guys that?
COVID, huh?
Did I tell you when I deleted TikTok?
No.
Why I deleted TikTok?
I think you told us.
Yeah. Did I tell you?
Yeah, I think so.
No, she told us.
Yeah.
I did tell you guys.
She fell down a dark hole.
Yeah. She's like, I had to get rid of it because I was ready to change everything.
Something like Friday the 13th was coming up, and like speeches, people were giving speeches, and then 5G being tested, and I was like, oh my God, I can't send my kids to daycare.
And the earth is flat.
I can't have it was...
I
think Iggy was like, who did I marry?
Right, he was like, oh God.
I had to delete it. I was like,
they're gonna tell us the truth about aliens. They're finally gonna tell us the truth.
So yeah,
and
definitely.
Everyone has a good a good reasoning. They all can prove their thoughts to me, and I'm like, you're right.
They're
right.
convincing,
and
then you follow your fact checks up with YouTube, and then that's it.
Yeah,
then you're gone.
All done. Yeah,
then you're done.
So don't follow her on TikTok. Follow her on Instagram.
Don't follow me on TikTok.
And I mean, so here's the thing: really every time she posts in the group, her posts blow up. I joke when my posts get a couple hundred likes every once in a while. I'm like, oh my God, I'm Jasmine status, because we would all joke with her because she'd post something and it'd be 3 hours and it has 400 and something likes and 100 and something comments, because it's just sure, we all have this same tool, but we do not 100% all have the same skill. Okay. So much so that
meaning the mirror.
We all have just a laser. We all have the same tool, aka a laser, but we do not all have the same skill. Right. And so much so that
meaning Jasmine.
Right. And so technically I could make a Jasmine sign, but it would not ever be Jasmine level, because
Jasmine could sit there and coach me through it on the phone,
and still
and it would still not ever be the equivalent of what she puts out.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, so much so. I mean, so much so that I ordered a sign for Jackson from her because I just wanted it to be that amazing. What I had in my head, I couldn't possibly bring to life like she could. Even if I attempted it, I would legit probably look at the sign and be like, why didn't I have Jasmine make this? I probably would have quit halfway through and been like, Jasmine, make this. So I'm glad that I bowed out before I even attempted it, because, I can't wait to see it.
Your hands were still in it, though.
Huh?
I said your hands were still, it was a nice effort in regards to coming
totally,
up with
I did the design. You did your portion.
I did. And she's gonna execute it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I drew what I could of the design.
Has John seen it? John's seen it, right?
Nope.
Yeah, you've seen.
Stop.
Yes, you have.
Oh no, yes I have. Yes, I did.
You've seen, yeah.
Yes, I have seen it.
Have you shown him any of the pictures I've sent you though?
No, not any of the progress ones. I want him to be. I don't want to show him any of that.
I have the concept.
Yeah, he knows.
I know what it's.
I can't wait until the universe sees the final product.
Oh my God, she's gonna break the internet like Kim Kardashian. I mean, at least that's what I think, because I think
she's
it's
gonna
just
balance
awesome
champagne on her ass as she posts it.
Totally. Yeah,
and then she's gonna make my logo sign. I'm so excited, because by the time, so here's where the general public gets to hear that I'm gonna pay Jasmine $1 million to make my logo designs sign once I can afford it, and once I come up with a new logo that she can hand carve for me
and turn into gold.
I'm excited about the sign that I don't even have it designed for yet, but I know that Jasmine's going to literally turn into gold. Exactly like this.
Well, so you also, one of the things that people are really drawn to with the designs that you do are the, what are they called? The faceless family portraits.
Yeah, faceless portraits.
Which I actually don't even really like them, but I love yours.
I only like that.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, I will say, like, there's a part of it where it's like, okay, well, these don't have faces, and I will say, you don't want me to try and put a face on mine, because
right?
You will
it'd be scary.
Glad it does not have a face. But I truly enjoy doing those as well. They're just a huge time commitment, and it's not even making it the laser part; it's the painting and.
You have to match
no one believes me when I say that
Is that
so
all of
hard.
that?
Are those the drawings?
It's such a struggle.
That like people can
those
add
are the ones where
missing,
she does like the
if someone's passed.
She's actually done a few of those where she like adds someone
like to a wedding
to the
photo
picture,
or something like that,
who was
they
not
make it.
who was not able to
those do
be
look
there.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's the painting that takes a long time. In general, like anything that has like texture, color, it doesn't come naturally to me, and it will take me like a while to like paint something, and then eventually I get into a groove like, oh, okay, if I do this and this, then it kind of like makes
it just clicks all of a sudden.
You know, what's in my head is like there, but so it takes me a long time to paint, and I mean, like, how truthful are you on podcasts? Like, I guess you don't have to post this part. I had one coming up, and it was she was Indian. Did I tell you guys this at all?
I don't think so.
She had me do a guest book. I haven't shown you guys, I think, the guest book, and it came out. It was really nice. Not a guest book, sorry. It was a sign for her shower. I think that she was going to have at her wedding. She got married last year because of COVID, and was having her wedding this year. And so she's Indian. The guest book. Wedding sign, welcome sign, whatever you call it. It was really nice. Tara did the lettering for it. It was like, I think you're simply the best. I don't know what, it must mean something to them. And then it had their wedding date. Super clean, white, black, and gold. And then I sent that to her. That was the one I told you guys that I thought the shipping date was like a month after. I don't know if you guys remember that. Anyway,
was,
yeah. So she needed a guest book. A photo recreation for some time in October. No, her wedding's October 30th, so I would have had to mail it, by like October 15th, just to be safe. And it was an Indian one, so she had like her whole, saris or whatever, gorgeous, but so much detail. Then the henna, her bouquet.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I refunded her. I told her I'm not going to be able to get it done for you in time. Yeah, and I have never done that before. But I think you guys kind of know where I'm at, like drained and stuff. And I did not charge her enough for it either.
I mean, it's good to know when to bow out, because I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could never.
Especially like you said, like not to say that like you like it sucks to get your like order denied, but like we need to know, like, as creators, when to call it a day, like when you've undercharged, like when you've realized that like way more of your time is about to go into this than you're going to be paid for. As much as that sucks as a buyer,
right?
Like, sorry.
Yeah, she was really good about it.
That's good.
And I just told her, like, I can't send you something that I'm not going to be able to put everything into it, and especially like with your dress, and it just wouldn't have been. A month sounds like a long time, which it is, but it isn't when.
No, it's not at all.
You only have a certain amount of time to work on, the piece. So
I die a little.
I tell people like 4 to 6 weeks minimum on like basic orders.
Yeah,
not even on anything intricate.
Right.
And she was so kind. She just said, if you ever start recreations again, just let me know. So she was super, super kind about it. Loved her guest.
Aren't they the best / worst clients where you're like, oh no, I feel bad and I
yeah. And she was like, selfishly, I want you to make it selfishly, but I understand.
Right.
So.
Well, but that also says how like awesome your work is. That like she's like, cool. Well, when you're ready, when you're back at it, I'm here waiting. Yeah.
Still here.
And I mean, so much so that, like, same with my sign. When, like, you've been doing it in between, like, life and all the other signs and stuff that you got. And I know 100% that it's worth whatever, whenever it happens. Because it's worth it. I love your work so much that, like, it's not even, and again, he's not even in his bedroom yet. So like, even if like you would have finished it, it'd probably be sitting here. And honestly, probably when we get the sign from Jasmine is when we'll get his room together.
Right. Cause we got the sign in.
Yeah.
So now
it'll be that little bit of kick.
Yeah. Because
and then you'll get the whole room set up and you'll be like, Jasmine, don't you love this sign?
Right.
And he'll just be like, oh.
Did you hear him?
Or he may be able to say, yeah.
I just like laughing at us or with
in my head, I know what the design looks like. Obviously, you guys know, so like I can't wait to see like the finished product because like I know Jasmine's work and I know that she's gonna blow it out of the park.
I mean, I hope I don't disappoint. You know, I feel
no pressure. No pressure now.
Yeah, like seriously, Jasmine, please don't mess this up. She's like, we have like a whole lot of. I'm just kidding.
I know it's so hard
get it
because
and you're like, oh, what is this?
I can't like talk about your work without like obsessing over it. So it's hard to like not like add pressure.
Like,
but it's
just I'm like, it's just how my friend Jasmine's work. She's my friend.
Right? I know her.
Well, I hope it's not one of those things where you get it and you're like, oh my goodness, you had such high expectations that it doesn't live up to your expectations because you have such high expectations?
Never. No. Not with you.
Because every time I've seen your work, like you'll show us along the way, right? Like you'll show us, oh, I cut this,
like,
or I
I'm
sanded
so
this,
or I can't believe
and
I'm
we're like,
and we'll be like, really?
Where?
Really?
What are you talking about?
The flaw? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, no, and it like. I'll see the process along the way, and so I'll have a finished product in my head because like we'll see the picture that's like the inspiration picture, and so I'll have a mental note of like, okay, I know what Jasmine can do, and here's this picture, and even like the line drawing, and then you'll show us the final product, and I'm like, how? I remember when you did that sweater texture and the lace texture on, like, I can't. Yeah, you're fine.
Drooling.
Like, you could probably give me your worst sign and I would still be obsessed with
Remember
it.
when she sent it to us and she's like, guys, you just looks okay? And I was like, no, it looks like complete shit. Start over. Do it over again. Like, so beautiful. Yeah. And, like, it's just, like, it comes like second nature, but like Jasmine said, like she's like, you don't understand like how much second guessing goes into her head, or like just us in general, like as creators, like Crystal and I look at Jasmine's work and we never see a flaw, but Jasmine looks at her own work and she'll probably find a million flaws.
I destroy my own work all the time. I did today with the sign that I dropped off with a customer. Yeah, right? I'm handing it to her and I'm literally telling her about all the flaws in it. I go, this is not a sign that is my normal work.
That, like they would never even know this unless you were like, if you look cute, what do you mean you don't see this flaw?
I pointed it out to her and she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's the star. But she would have never seen the things that I like, but I couldn't not tell her because I had this guilt
because on the off chance
her
that she
thinking
does
exactly that this
you
is
need to
just
call it out first.
Exactly. So I'm like handing her the sign that she's
call me out because I already called me out.
Yes, exactly. I'm handing her the sign and she's like loving the sign and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, for what? And
And then you're like, let me give you all your money back.
Right.
Crystal's like, here's your free sign that is no longer at any charge to you because it's terrible and I hate it.
I've totally contemplated refunding her money. And even after, so much so that even after I gave it to her, like there's been several times today where my brain's like, maybe we should text her and make sure she really likes it and that she doesn't want like a partial refund. And like, this is how my brain works. So I totally understand Jasmine and how she feels about her own stuff, because again, I'll post something and people will be like,
because we have weird anxiety issues
because we're all a little messed up.
I think that we all
occasionally say like, why am I like this?
What are you gonna say, Jasmine?
We obviously all know we're human and we're not machines, so it's not going to be perfect. And like logically we know that, but when it comes to our own stuff, for some reason we expect it to be like this, like perfect piece, no imperfections. But then we can turn and say to the other person, like, why would you think that? It looks great. Like it can't be free of, any flaws. It's made by a human. So
I was like, I think that Crystal, did I send you, or Jasmine, did I send you that meme the other day that was like, I think it was Joey from Friends that said like me motivating other people. That was like, don't give up, like keep on trying or whatever it is. And then it was like me motivating myself. It's like, I quit. Like,
yes,
I can
100%.
motivate you all day long. Like the second I'm motivating myself, like I'm done. Like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, so let's talk about, speaking of motivating yourself though, Heather, you've done really well lately killing some goals. And let's talk about one that you just did.
Trying.
So what did you just accomplish recently that's super awesome?
Finally, I launched my email subscriber list. And that was last Monday. Yay.
And if you know anything about like I mean, how hard is it to get people to like, hey, you want more email spam? It's hard to get people to like.
And not only do you want more, but like click here and then confirm that you clicked here. Like there are.
And then there's like 3 different steps. Like yes, that's a lot to ask of people.
You don't think it's anything, but it is. Like I know, like as a consumer, I know that it is. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sign up, and then you get like the text, and it's like, do I really want to start getting texts from you in 5 minutes? Like, I don't really know.
Or getting distracted by shiny things. Like I legit almost didn't finish it, and you wanted me to like test it almost, and it was like I almost didn't finish.
I was like, hey BFF, can you test my subscriber list? And she was like, oh yeah, it works. And I was like, well, does the file work? She was like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, just go with it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, well, cool. Thanks for testing.
Because I mean, there's so much going on, and like I thought, like I clicked all the things, and I'm like, oh, there's another click.
The shiny ball, and she got it. I'm clicky through it. But that's the thing is like so here's the thing. So what I'm learning is during my email subscriber building whatever, I'm taking courses from other course creators, other people who have been through the same like journey, and they're telling me like their successes, their failures, where they thrived, and what the mistakes that they made were. And this is one of the biggest ones, is that like you assume that everyone that clicks yes, I want to sign up for your list, really wants to sign up for your, like, they don't all follow through. So like right now I am real figures. I am about a week in. I think I have 120 email subscribers confirmed as of right now.
That's awesome.
But I have like 270 total.
Who like clicked the first?
What's that?
Yeah.
Yes. So I think I'm guessing 50%. But the last I checked it, I was like right around halfway on my.
And that's pretty good.
People that clicked it first. Right, that's what the site that I'm on, that I'm using for like my promotions and stuff, is. They said the same thing. Like they're like, your click through rate is excellent, like beyond what you would see. But like in my head, I'm like, what do you mean only half of these people
actually followed it all the way to the end?
Like all I can think of is like, if I'm signing up for something, like I'm getting free files, like doing, like I'm guaranteed I'm clicking on, I'm getting my files, but that's not the case. So like that's where I'm like kind of learning the struggles of like getting that started, but. Super excited about it. There's a contest running now for my subscribers that I'll send a reminder out for next week. And cool. I'm on my way.
Woohoo!
slowly.
Nice.
Someday I'll do that in like 6 months from now. That's like how Heather like she tries it out, tests it, tells me all the things not to do.
Reports back.
Yeah, and then 6 months from now when I'm like mentally ready, because she's like doing okay with it, then I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Makes sense. How long ago did you buy your new car, Heather?
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, but you can't blame her for that because you brought it up.
Look at her. She's deflected.
True.
But it did make me, I did totally have FOMO when she got that new car. I was like,
the one that just sits in my driveway because it never gets to go anywhere.
Yeah, that one.
Right. But here I am. I left, so I met that customer for the sign and then went to Emily's to TikTok. We went live on TikTok. And then I was driving home. And I was like, what time is it? And I'm like, do I have time to go somewhere? And I'm like, for one, like the hardest part for me is getting dressed to go outside. And once I actually get outside, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I do actually like to be somewhere besides my house. And then like now having a car that I love to drive.
Out there.
Yeah, same. Because I mean, everything can come to your house. I can order everything I need.
And food, I don't even leave my house for work anymore.
Right. So it makes like you forget that like there's things that you can do.
I legit like I'll go out for something and I'll be like, where's this traffic? Where's everyone going? Right. And then I'll be like, well, it's 4:30, it's rush hour. I'm like, damn it, I keep forgetting there's like a planet out here. Because like I've been home since March of 2020. Like I legit like, for those who don't know, like I have the husband that food shops and does literally everything. I do not leave my house ever for anything unless like maybe we're going out to drink for them. Like I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Ever. So when I'm out on the road and I see like humans, I'm like, there's a whole nother world out here.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to go do all these things. Yeah. With and I'm like, where can I drive this new car that goes really fast?
It's like 2019 again.
Right? Yeah. So
and with that, it wraps up another good episode. I mean, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What? Are you screaming from across the room? Did you leave and like come back?
She died and came back to life too.
I entered the room again. John hates when I interrupt him. Love everybody.
So one more time, Jasmine, let the people know where to find you on Instagram.
Instagram, thehomestay.co.
Yep.
And Heather, Lobo Designs.
_Lobo Designs.
_ Lobo Designs. And you know where to catch, you know where to find us, the Riley Black Project, on Instagram,
Facebook.
kinda, but mostly on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been another great episode. Bye.
Of the Riley Black Show.
Yeah. Everyone knows
all those things. All right.
Everyone knows
We're
what show they're listening to.
try to do the exit.
Everyone knows who they're listening to. It's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and
John. Bye.
Complete shit show.
Maybe we're all done.